In today's video, we're going to take apart this Winix air purifier and fix the noisy motor. This is what the motor sounds like before the fix, and this is after. It's turning and it's quiet. I'll try and speed through this video as quickly as possible. I'm basically just removing all the screws and taking the whole thing apart. Basically just want to get the motor removed so we can replace the bearings in it. Other repair tutorials recommended this NSK bearing, so I bought those. I couldn't find any good videos showing how to actually split the motor open and replace the bearings, so I'm going to show you that today. This is the annoying sound signature that I have to listen to every night while this thing runs. The motor simply unplugs from this junction box. There's a little cord grip here that you have to remove. At first I thought I could pry the lid off with a screwdriver, but it was just damaging the plastic. So I mounted the motor in my vise, and I'm using a punch and a hammer to knock the cover off. I got the cover loose, but it still wasn't coming off. Something inside was still attached. I assumed it was the bearing still stuck in the cover. Here I'm using plastic tire levers, trying to pry the lid and figure out why it's stuck. The caveman in me figured hit it with a hammer, then that would free it up. That did the trick. This little wave washer fell out. Make sure you don't lose that. Looks like this big integrated circuit was glued onto the lid, so when I pried the lid off, I also broke all the connections to that IC. I think this was broken before I hit it with a hammer. At this point, I figured the motor was toast. I called Winix and asked if I could buy a replacement motor, and they didn't seem too keen on that idea. California does have a right to repair law, which requires manufacturers that sell appliances in California to supply users with replacement parts for 7 years, but they didn't seem to care. The bearings are attached to the rotor in the motor, and to get the rotor out, I have to remove this circuit board. For that, I'm using my desoldering gun. You could also use a regular soldering iron and just melt each spool while prying up on the circuit board, and eventually you'll walk it out. I thought the desoldering gun was kind of funny. When you reload it, it spits out a stream of smoke. Even though the solder lugs were way bigger than the hole in my desoldering tool, it worked pretty well. Once the circuit board's removed, the rotor should just pull out. You do have to fight the magnets, but the bearings aren't pressed in to the case at all. Here I'm trying to pry the bearing off, and I didn't realize there was an E-clip under the bearing, so this might have actually worked. I happen to already own this puller, so that seemed like the ideal tool to use. And here I'm just using a 4mm socket to use as a pin pusher. It didn't take any force at all, really. I was just turning the puller's lead screw by hand. When I was prying on the bearing earlier, I think I was prying on that E-clip. I'm using a 3/8 extension and a small hammer to tap the new bearing in place. I'm only hammering on the center part of the bearing, so I'm not damaging the balls inside. I'm going to give the pry bar a test on the other side to see if it could be done without a puller. This seems like the easier way to do it, actually. To tap the new bearing on, I found a deep socket that allowed me to tap the center part of the bearing so I don't damage it. These are the old bearings made in China, and the new NSK bearings are made in Indonesia. I'll put a link in the description below for the bearings. The rotor just drops in place, and circuit board will go on top, but first we need to fix all the pins that I broke on this integrated circuit. The pins broke off right at the edge of the integrated circuit, so I'm grinding away some of the plastic so I have some material to solder to. I'm also grinding off all this epoxy that glued the IC to the motor cover. The IC is a little bit loose on the circuit board because it's only attached on one side, so I'm using this UV cured resin. This is a thicker gel consistency, and I poured some behind the IC to glue it to the circuit board. That way it doesn't move and it'll be less likely to crack my solder joints. I didn't do a good job filming this, but I did put some of the resin under both sides of the IC. The strong UV light cures the resin within a couple seconds. And when it's cured, it's pretty much hard as a rock, and the IC is firmly in place now. I'm switching over to my microscope just to make it easier to see what I'm doing. I don't really have the greatest tools for doing this kind of soldering, but I'm making do. I don't have any flux, so I'm just using rosin core solder. The rosin core 6040 tin lead solder seems to be the easiest to use because it has a low melting point. The soldering wasn't really going great, but I figured this motor was a loss anyway, so just doing my best to not screw it up. And well, this is the point where I screwed it up. I got the pin too hot and it melted the solder where it was attached to the circuit board, and now I'm using a piece of doorbell wire to make a new pin. This is a pretty janky fix, but it'll work. Here I'm touching up any solder joints that look like they might need a little more solder. This extra step of soldering broken pins would be unnecessary if you could open the motor case without damaging the circuits. This is the adhesive that was holding everything together. It doesn't seem to melt, but if you could pry the case open enough to get a screwdriver in there to break this seal, that would save you a lot of work having to solder all the pins. Now I'm soldering the 3 motor leads to the circuit board. I'm making sure to add enough solder so that it can wick through both sides of the circuit board. I'm putting the mask shield back in place, and instead of using epoxy, I'm going to just use this thermal grease. My plastic container is so old that it's cracked and brittle, so I keep it in a Ziploc bag. I'm putting the cover on in a different orientation so the thermal grease has a fresh spot to attach to, and I don't have to worry about the epoxy causing an uneven surface. Here's the moment of truth, plugging in the motor, and let's see if it spins. It's turning. It's turning and it's quiet. I previously only pressed the motor cover on by hand, so here I'm putting it in a vise just to make sure it's fully seated. There we go. This bracket has crenellations around the hole, and I can see the imprint left in the bushing, so I know this bushing goes in that spot. To be honest, I think I put this black bracket on backwards. I thought it was interfering with the cables, but I think it's designed to prevent the motor from spinning in the mount. There was previously green Loctite on the nut, so I added a drop. This filter is about 3 years old, and I have 2 others that are about the same age. They do seem very well built and easy to work on, but I do wish that the company would sell replacement motors. All 3 of my Winix air purifiers make the same moaning noise. I really don't like the idea of throwing 3 of these in the landfill and buying new ones. These retail for about $180, so that's a big investment to be thrown away in the landfill every 3 years, especially considering the motors are so cheap to replace. I found similar motors for around $40 on Amazon, but I couldn't find one with the exact same threaded shaft. I did press the issue with Winix that they don't seem to be abiding by the California right to repair law. It does seem tragic to think that so many of these will end up in the landfill when a motor can be easily replaced with a Phillips screwdriver and a 10mm wrench. Perhaps if more of us inquired about replacement parts or getting our units repaired outside the warranty period, Winix might have a change of heart. It's nice to finally have that motor noise gone. You may have noticed the tinting that I have over the LEDs on my filter. These are peel and stick tinted stickers that you can put over the LEDs so it doesn't light up your whole bedroom at night. Anyway, I hope you found this video useful, and if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below. Thanks!